everybody, and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles, and on this episode, we're walking in Memphis. The topic for this, CWA Memphis Wrestling from January 2nd, 1982. And I want to give a shout out right in the beginning to our good friend, the American Samurai, Bucky749. Check out his channel, link down here in the comment, or link in the descriptions actually, for his channel. Check him out. He's the guy that gave me the idea for this series, which has been nothing but fun, nothing but a trip down memory lane and nostalgia lane, and sometimes I'm finding little hidden gems that I didn't know of. Anyway, with that being said, we grade everything here on a 1 to 5 scale. 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. Let's jump right into it. Our first match of the night, or first match of the show, Rick Morton and Tom Maley versus Dennis Condrey and Randy Rhodes, representing the Midnight Express. Norvell Austin is there with them. A lot of people don't realize that before Condrey and Eaton, there was a Midnight Express. There was this version, Norvell Austin, Dennis Condrey, and Randy Rhodes. It kind of worked as a Freebirds type faction where any two of the three could be the team. Interesting again, on the other side of the ring, Rick Morton is Ricky Morton. So you see Ricky Morton on the opposite side of the Midnight Express, both in a little bit different roles. Ricky Morton would wrestle Condrey several hundreds of times probably in his career. This match, he was more there for fodder to put the more established guys in Midnight Express over. Midnights pick up the win here. I'm giving this a 3. My favorite version of the Midnights is Condrey and Eaton, so I always love seeing Dennis Condrey, and I don't think he gets the respect he deserves, and I think a lot of that is based on the fact that he's not on a lot of videos that are on the WWE Network. He's on some of the old Crockett stuff. He might be on some of the WCCW stuff they have there, but I don't think there's much more than that. And I'm not talking about the later run where him and Rose came back to wrestle Lane and Eaton as the Midnight Express feud. I mean when he was as close to his prime as he was here. And I don't think there's a lot of people know where to find it. Which, another thing, this show, there's going to be a link down here in the description as well for this specific show for you to check out. Because I definitely recommend doing that. I'm giving this match a 3. I thought it was a good opener. Pretty solid all the way through. Next up, we have a promo with Jimmy Hart with his first family group at the time, which is always awesome. It's a local promo, which kind of interesting on this show, and I'm going to talk about this at the end more. There's no in-studio promos, or only promos they have are the local promos, which is weird for me watching Memphis Wrestling, because everything I've ever seen, they always have some in-studio promos. This was great. If you only know Jimmy Hart from his WWE and WCW run, you did not see the best Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Hart in Memphis is one of the best managers of all time. And I know a lot of people rank him that highly already, but he was so good. So many people were inspired by what he did here that they copied and used his style all through their years. He was really, really good here. Not saying that what he did later on wasn't good as well. This, to me, Jimmy Hart, and as effective as he was in Memphis, is the best Jimmy Hart. Coming from that, we actually have Jimmy Hart in a match replacing Sweet Brown Sugar. Again, I'm going to talk about something at the end of the video. Going up against Dennis Upton. Normally, Jimmy Hart has no chance of winning a match versus a wrestler. We do get to see the Iranian Assassin come in, and he helps Jimmy Hart basically behind the referee's back. Jimmy picks up the win here. I'm giving this a 3 for pure entertainment. Not great. The match wasn't great, but it was entertaining. Jimmy Hart is entertaining, and he always has and always will be. Coming from that, we get another local promo for Bill Dundee, Jimmy Hart, the Iranian assassin. Or actually, I'm sorry, it wasn't a promo. I digress. I'm getting ahead of myself. We go to obviously some video from a Memphis Coliseum show where we have Jimmy Hart and Bill Dundee wrestling, which leads us to the Iranian assassin coming out, which leads Steve Kern coming out and Stan Lane coming out. Kern is on the side of Dundee. Lane is part of the first family at this point. Ends up with Steve Kern getting hit with a fireball. Kind of funny that Kern and Lane on different sides, knowing that they're going to become the Fantastics. A lot of symmetry on this show with that. Stuff like Ricky Morton against the Midnight Express. Kern and Lane on opposite sides of each other. From that match or highlight leads to the Super Destroyer versus Bill Dundee, where the Super Destroyer can only win if he gets 2 pinfalls in 10 minutes. I'm watching this in a vacuum, so I didn't see what led up to this, so I'm guessing at this point, the Super Destroyer was probably still either unbeaten or something to that effect, and at some point Dundee took him to a time limit. There had to be something to cause this weird of a stipulation. Since the Super Destroyer only pinned him once in the 10-minute period, Dundee does pick up the win here. I'm giving this a 4. This is my favorite part of the whole show. I did enjoy this. A little bit confusing. In Memphis, as much praise as I give it, I will say there are times where some of their gimmicks and some of their matches get a little bit convoluted. Not quite TNA level convoluted, but still convoluted and funny, because a lot of the people in Memphis were instrumental in TNA, so kind of makes sense a little bit when you think of it that way. Coming out of that promo or video package, we have David Price, not the pitcher, and Roy Rogers, not the actor, going up against the Cuban and the Iranian assassin. And take a look at this picture here. I found this picture. It looks like it's obviously from a newspaper article, but this is just perfect. This is what territory wrestling looked like. This is amazing to me. I miss characters like this. This was what made me fall in love with wrestling. People like this. And I know it's questionable, stereotyping wrestlers, and I don't mean it that way. I don't mean the stereotypes. Just that how crazy these two guys look. You believe that these two guys were killers. They absolutely dominated the match here. The Cuban and Iranian assassins picked up the win here. I'm giving this a 3. Another good match. I wouldn't say great, but good. And I just love these guys. Then we go into the main event, which has Jerry the King Lawler on commentary, which we get Nightmare and Speed versus Bill Dundee and Dutch Mantel. This was a solid match. Probably my second favorite of the night. So no surprise that Bill Dundee's involved in both of the matches that I really enjoyed on the show. Bill Dundee's a great wrestler. I like this. I believe the Nightmare and Speed was Nightmare is Danny Davis and Speed is Ken Wayne. And Dundee and Mantel, I've said it before, Dutch Mantel is my favorite of the Memphis wrestlers, of the Memphis-centric wrestlers. I just love Dutch. This was a really, really good match as well. I rather enjoyed this. This is how you end a show. You got one of your top tag teams versus 2 of your top stars. Great way to end a show, especially a territory era show. Dundee and Mantel pick up the win. I'm giving this a 4. After that, we get another promo, a local promo for Bill Dundee and Steve Kern, talking about who they're wrestling on the next show. thought this all was really good. Overall, there's a couple things I wanted to mention. I did find it weird there were no in-ring or no in-studio promos, I shall say. I've never seen another episode of Memphis TV where there wasn't at least one in-studio promo. So that was kind of strange to me. Sweet Brown Sugar being replaced by Jimmy Hart, that was also strange. I thought about it here, and I don't know this to be fact, but I've heard a lot of times, you hear a lot of stories of during the territory days where they shot these shows live in front of the studio audience. You would have days where people couldn't make it to the studio because of weather conditions. With it being January 2nd, I wonder if that was the issue here. I wonder if there weren't more promos with people that didn't get on the show. I wonder if maybe Steve Kern was supposed to be there, Stan Lane was supposed to be there, because I don't think they were out at any point in the show. I could be wrong. They could have just played it this way as it is. But it kind of... Don't get me wrong, it was not a bad episode. It was just a little bit different than what I expect out of Memphis Wrestling. All in all, a really good show. They're all pretty good. They're all very watchable. I've said it before and I'll say it again. 80s Memphis Wrestling holds up better than any other territory in the 80s or any other wrestling show of the 80s. I thoroughly enjoyed this one. I'm giving this one another 4. I highly recommend watching it. There's going to be a link again down here in the the description of the show. There's going to be a link down here for you to go back and watch this. With that being said, my name is George Coles, and we've been walking in Memphis.